Hey everybody, welcome back. Coming at you here, Week 9 NFL preview on the comment section. We got a couple other breaking news stories that we need to get to before we can preview these games. Poker Guy, how you doing out there in the great state of Florida?
I'm doing good. I know you don't care. Anybody, nobody really cares. But there's Hurricane Oscar sending some waves, so I've been surfing in mornings and evenings. Been very, very happy. Aside from all the Kit Kats that I ate last night, I feel like shit. But other than that, I'm ready to rock. Let's get the podcast started. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I was on my way home from work yesterday, and my wife called me. She said, "Hey, get some more Halloween candy." And I went to Safeway, which, by the way, they are extortionists when it comes to the prices of their Halloween candy. Because I got my original stash at Walmart, and everything they had at Walmart for $14.95, they had at Safeway for $27.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you,
fuck those
fuckers.
Guys. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Dude, every business does that, though. Like, we have hurricanes down here, and the price of water, like, quadruples right before a hurricane. And nobody says anything. And it's absurd, dude.
Yeah, the guys in the boardroom at Nestle are just stroking their hard cocks every time they see a hurricane moving in.
Oh, yeah. For the listeners, that means because Nestle, they're trying to steal water. That's pretty much the narrative. But
yeah, they pump tap water and they shove it into bottles. Then they sell it to you, kill a bunch of dolphins, and they're loving life.
Yeah, but their candy's so good, though. Oh, so good.
It's so good. I got sick off of that. And then I also got sick, like we've been over. I'm a white guy. And I was watching some TV last night, and I got seduced by a very, very provocative Taco Bell commercial. It had some very delicious food on there, and then they juxtaposed it side by side with a really refreshing glass of Baja Blast, which I don't indulge in the Baja Blast. I'm a Diet Mountain Dew man like Skip Bayless, but I went and got some Taco Bell for lunch today as a result of that commercial. I love it when I see advertisement and I can feel it like working inside of me, and I say, yep, you got me. You got me, Taco Bell. I cannot resist.
It's incredible. It really is the fact that you're like seduced by Mountain Dew. That makes me, I don't know, makes me smile, makes me happy.
Makes you feel good that you don't have those genetic weaknesses.
Well, it makes me feel like I'm in control of my life. And then, of course, I have leftover Halloween candy. I think I had like 12 pieces of Kit Kats right before this pod. So I can feel the cavities forming on my teeth. I can feel my pancreas hypertrophying. So if I die from pancreatic cancer in about 10 years, it will be the Kit Kats.
It'll be the Kit Kats that get you. But, the good news is if you do die in the short term, you may not have to witness what could be one of the greatest travesties in the sport. So usually we're right into the NFL action, but we gotta cover a few things. We're going to call this segment, hey, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? And the number one breaking news story in all the news cycles right now is, of course, the WNBA Players Association is opting out of their current CBA. So at some point at the end of I think 2019, we could be headed towards a lockout in the WNBA. And then what are people going to do on June 22nd when there are no other sports to watch? And ESPN has to run an extra 30 for 30 instead of the LA Sparks versus whatever other WNBA teams exist. Name 3 WNBA teams.
I can't do it. I can't.
Let me hear it.
I can't. I know there's the Wolves. There's like the female version of the Wolves. Like they're like a pink version of the Wolves. The Huskies, maybe. There's like one team that's called like the Groove or some shit. Something stupid.
No way. I don't believe you. I'm not going to look that up. I just don't believe you. I can name 2. I could name Phoenix. I think it's the Phoenix Mercury and then the LA Sparks.
Okay, well, on that note, let me just pull this up. LA Sparks, Seattle Storm, kind of like the Supersonics. That's cool. The Washington Mystics. That's stupid. The Minnesota
I don't know
Lynx.
Why people are freaking out about Seattle not having an NBA team. They got a WNBA team. So what do you need an NBA team for?
These names are pretty
great fundamentals.
Though. Portland Fire, the Miami Soul, Cleveland Rockers. I'll
tell you what, I live in the Portland area, and I did not know they had a WNBA team. I didn't know that. I went to a Blazers game recently, but I was unaware that they had a WNBA counterpart. And one of the things that I was looking at on that they're upset about is that the NBA players get half of the basketball revenue that comes in, roughly, and the WNBA players only get 22% of the basketball revenue, which you might say to yourself, that's not fair, but almost every WNBA team like operates as a tax loss subsidy for another NBA team. So they generate revenue, but almost all of them there's no profit generated by the league. The league runs at a loss. So that'll be an interesting negotiation segment that comes up here in 2 years, because you want to talk about a group of people that don't have any leverage. He's like, you got no leverage. Well, wait. If we don't make a new contract with you, we cannot continue to run a business that loses money. I don't know.
Well, let's do
where you're coming from.
Let's do the Nostradamus prediction. So it sounds like you're on the fence that they might maybe still exist after the whole negotiation, or are you just right off the bat saying they're gonna be burned to the ground and maybe moved to Europe or Canada or something?
No, I think it still keeps going, but I think they leave that negotiation probably with less than they have in their current bargaining, where it's like, all right, you're getting 22% now. Well, hey, guess what? We're running at net 5% loss. We're going to take that out of your end, and you're going to get 17%. And we'll try and find a way to break even. That's a take it or leave it from us. Let us know if you want to get going on that, but otherwise, we'll just go ahead and get some more Disney on Ice events going in our arena, a couple more John Mayer concerts, and we're going to be okay. Like everything's going to be okay.
Right. Is Creed still a thing? Let's bring Creed in. Let's bring Creed.
If they're not, we're going to bring them back.
Yeah.
We're going to have
still around. We're going to bring Nickelback or the Spice Girls.
Creed open for Nickelback, and then Fred Durst is going to headline. Like not even Limp Bizkit, just a drunk, strung out Fred Durst is going to come out there and make an embarrassment out of himself, more than he already has been throughout his entire career.
You know what's crazy? Who goes to Fred Durst concerts? You know, who goes to like Limp Bizkit? You know, who goes to those concerts? Who does
People do. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, I would go to a Smash Mouth concert just to kind of see who's at a Smash Mouth concert, and to see like how big is that lead singer. I bet he's put on some weight. And 20 years later,
I bet he's skinny as fuck, dude. I bet he looks like a marathon guy. He picked up cycling or something. He's in really good shape.
He completed one of those Ironmans down in Hawaii. Like,
the
thing is, he went somewhere. Like, he didn't kind of stay where he was at. He's either Buster Douglas, 400 pounds, or he's, like you said, some wiry fellow who you're like, man, you used to be the lead singer of Smash Mouth? Whoa, okay.
You know what, though? They're probably the most I don't know numbers, I'm an idiot, but that's probably really one of the most successful bands that has ever existed, because they've been playing that stupid song, Hey Now You're an All-Star, for the last like 40 years. You know, every single, like Shrek, I know Shrek made them a lot of money. There was that Mystery Men movie. I'm sure they have that movie or that song licensed to the teat. They're probably still raking in the dough.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, sorry, everyone, your LA Sparks game has been canceled, but Smash Mouth's going to open for the Mighty Mighty Bosstones tonight. So you're all coming out winners.
I'd see some Mighty Mighty Bosstones for sure.
Yeah, I would way rather have a front row seat to that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next big topic of the week. So DJ Durkin, the head coach from Maryland, he's been reinstated. No, he's actually been reinstated and fired after the 100% mutiny. That was a big boner move. I don't get why they were fighting for that guy. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that story.
Speed. Let me ask you, is this the guy that killed somebody or something?
Well, I mean, did he kill him with his own hands? No. Did he kill him through systemic and, just horrible neglect? That's pretty much the conclusion of anyone that's investigated the incident. So some young man, I think his name is Jordan McNair, he ended up passing away earlier this year, I believe, from complications due to heat stroke and heat exhaustion and some other things that were going on. And I believe he showed signs of distress And the real monster here is the strength and conditioning coach. I don't know what that guy's name is. I think it's McCourt or Court, something like that. He's already been fired long ago. He was settled for $315,000. They fired him for that amount of money. That's a great amount of money to get fired for most people. And then he'll somehow, who knows, maybe he'll be the strength and conditioning coach for the Sparks here in 2 years when they pick back up after the CBA gets cleared up. But he was a monster, apparently. He was a strength and conditioning coach, but not the guy that you wanted to be around. Not Nick Saban's strength and conditioning coach. He's not making anybody better. He's just a fucking sadist, apparently. So he ended up supervising and kind of coordinating the efforts around the incidents that cost that young man his life. And DJ Durkin, he's in charge of that guy. And most people say they were pretty much in lockstep with how they wanted things run. Durkin got suspended while they could investigate. And then yesterday, the Board of Regents said, we're going to reinstate this guy. And everyone was just assuming they'd wait till the report came out, they'd fire him. And it's a weird thing, a weird power struggle, because the Board of Regents can only do one thing. They can only hire and fire the president of the university. They can't hire and fire the coaches or anybody below them. But they told the president, if you don't reinstate him, we're going to fire you. So he's like, all right. He reinstated him. And then they took the coach in there, met the team, and they're like, all right, everyone, Coach Durkin's back. And then I think about half the team just got up and walked the fuck out of there. They're like, no, no, you're not welcome back here, Coach. You need to go. Massive massive demonstrations, not riots, pardon me. I live in the Portland area, so I get used to riots and demonstrations kind of being the same thing. But fuck you, Ted Wheeler, you piece of shit. He's a mayor of Portland. He's a loser. But anyhow,
fucking nerd.
So the whole community, everyone is can't believe that this happened. Massive outrage. Then the next day, which I think is yesterday, the president's like, you know what? Fuck the board. I'm going to fire this guy. I don't care if it costs me my job. He's like, I'd rather get fired right now than be the monster that put this monster back into play. So he took it on himself and he canned the guy. And, there it goes. And then furthermore, the backlash was so severe that the president of the Board of Regents, he resigned immediately as well.
Damn.
So that's a bad decision all around. But here's the thing that I don't get. That guy was 5-13 or 5-20. He had a terrible record. It wasn't like you were sticking your neck out there for Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
The guy at Ohio, whoever the guy, Gene Smith, I think's the guy at Ohio State. He's got a reason to put his neck out there. Meyer's got 3 national championships. He's one of the better coaches. But there's no reason to stick your neck out for DJ Durkin. Just can the guy, move on, and be done with it. I don't know why they did that, but they're looking like a bunch of losers. And while we're on the subject of Urban Meyer, you being a former Florida alum, you were there during the glory days. You couldn't have had it any better.
Tim Tebow. We had also the basketball championships to go crazy for. Joakim Noah, Al Horford. It was a good couple years. But we were all Urban Meyer fans. We always loved him until he had heart trouble. And then that was a nice way of him quitting on us. And then he just started working at Ohio State, which he's really, revealed that he's really kind of a piece of shit. He's really not a good guy. He's a good coach.
Well, I never thought he was a good guy. I mean, granted,
I was blinded by the
you're blinded by
those
the
crystal trophies, by the orange and blue chants, the stupid Go Gator bullshit. When you see somebody on the side of the street, you say Go Gators, and they say Go Gators back, and then you do a high five with your dicks, and it's awesome.
It was a good couple years together, Gator chomp in the air.
Totally.
And then everybody.
It was that stupid. Time. It was really that fucking stupid, but it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from a generally failed athletic institution at the University of Arizona. We've had many a poor football team and what seems like an endless string of Elite Eight defeats, half of them at the hands of white dudes from Wisconsin, but I'm not bitter about that. I'll tell you one thing though, Dick Vitale, if you're listening to this, which you're not, but if it gets back to you, special, very crispy fuck you to Dick Vitale.
Explain to the viewers why you don't like Dick Vitale.
Well, Dick Vitale, my whole thinking, he's got a personal vendetta against Sean Miller. I don't know what the hell Sean Miller did to Dick Vitale. I don't know if he took Dick Vitale's mom out to a nice seafood dinner and never called her back or what happened, but he has got something, he's got a personal grudge because there's all this FBI shit going on. And guess what? Everybody's dirty. College basketball is like professional cycling. Like all these dudes are dirty. They're all dirty. They're all just juiced up and or handing bags of cash to people. And Dick Vitale, everyone knows he's a dick slobberer for Duke. Like he's got Mike Krzyzewski's cock so far down his throat, he scratches it when he fucking wipes his ass. So he can't get enough of that. And Duke's got 5 of the top 10 recruits this year, but I'm being led to believe that no, that's because Krzyzewski's got LeBron James' cell phone number from coaching Team USA. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That guy's dirty. Coach K's dirty. It's going to be a Joe Paterno style fall from grace. Hopefully without all the pedophilia. But he's going to fall hard when the truth comes out about him.
It never will.
There's no way you can have that many recruits that are that good and not be paying those guys. It's of course.
I think everybody kind of understands that. But that's the problem with the NCAA. That's just more you gotta cut the head of the chicken or whatever the fucking stupid saying is. You got to fix the problem from the top. And until they fix that NCAA stuff, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep going on. But I don't think there's ever going to be a Krzyzewski fallout ever.
I mean, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to pretend like we're not, like, U of A's not dirty. We got to be. We got too many good basketball players to not be dirty.
Everybody is. How else are you going to convince somebody to come to your school? How else? Homecoming pamphlets? Fucking YouTube videos of your ultimate frisbee team? No. Money.
No, I mean, Rick Pitino's got hookers sucking people off and bags of cash. It's like you got to do something to get people to school. Like, that's just
can you blame the recruits though? Like,
no, I can't.
Like we're gonna give you a limo. We're gonna give you a credit card and stacks of cash, and we're gonna give you like the keys to like the mansion that we have in Miami, and have fun for the weekend. You're gonna be fuck yeah.
I don't blame anybody. Just let those guys make money. Like, you don't even have to pay them. Just let them, work for a car dealership for $200,000, 6 hours a week or whatever the fuck they want to do. Like, just let some rich guy pay him off. Let him sell, let Zion Williamson go out to the car dealership and sling Mazda Miatas on like Sunday afternoon and get paid for it. Right? Like, just let that happen.
I don't disagree with you at all. We're way off topic. We were talking about fucking Urban Meyer and his heart attacks.
Yeah, so we're talking about Urban Meyer and his heart attacks. But now, a little bit of trouble at Ohio State, and wouldn't you know it, old Urban, some more health issues come out about him. He's got a brain cyst, apparently. I don't even know what that means. It doesn't sound good. Brain anything is not good. But he's been managing it, and he's plans on coaching football for as long as he can. But who knows how long that's going to be? We'll see how that goes. But he is quietly laying the groundwork for another nice little exit from a program that he's left in distress.
Yeah, he's just ready to move on. They used to, when you would break up with your girls back in the day, it's not you, it's me. Now the new one is we're just not a good fit. And Urban Meyer, he's got to evolve with the times. It was heart trouble. Now it's brain cysts. Probably next time when he's doing the same shit in Oklahoma or Texas, he's probably going to say, I have a parasite or an amoeba in my ball sack and I need to take some time off. It'll just evolve every year.
I've got Zika virus and it's just tearing me apart. Or maybe he's positioning himself to go ahead and leave and take that open Browns job. So Hue Jackson fired.
That'd be awesome.
Todd Haley fired. What's interesting is Hue Jackson's already on his PR tour about how, hey, I would have got that turned around. And, we finally had some good players. If I'd have had a little more control over the offense, we could have got that going. It's like, dude, you're the fucking head coach. You got all the control you can think of. But he's gone. Todd Haley's gone. And now we got Gregg Williams in charge.
Uh-oh.
And how the fuck do people keep putting Gregg Williams in charge of anything?
Dude, that's some
why
like
are people doing that?
You ever seen the show Game of Thrones?
Yes, everyone's seen that. It's the best television program on the air.
It's like there's always that person that keeps climbing and climbing and climbing, and lo and behold, Gregg Williams, he had to do the shame thing. You know, he was naked and had his hair cut, and they were doing shame, and he had to struggle, and now he's back on top, Cersei style, and he's looking for blood. So
He's
Brett
looking for
Favre,
blood. He's more
Brett
of a
Favre,
more of
stay
a
home.
Littlefinger character, though, is where I'd put him. He's playing sides against each other. He's probably the guy that went to John Dorsey and said, "Hey, man, here it's really just it's Hue and Todd that are the problem." And then he came out. Apparently, he got fired from the Bills job in 2003, and he came out and he said, "Hey, I've had 11 offers to come interview to be a head coach, and I've had 4
Hue
people
Jackson?
that have just." No, this is Gregg Williams.
Okay.
And he says he's had 4 people that have just said, "Hey, the job's yours if you want it." And I'm like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here, Gregg Williams. You're
not
a
anymore.
lying piece of shit."
Well, not anymore.
No.
You don't want to be like, oh yeah, my coach is the guy that was trying to kill people.
Yeah,
You know?
my coach is a guy that was handing out $5,000 for putting people in the CTE clinic.
Dude, the audio tapes are there. This isn't just like the proof is there. It's not even
He's
like
not joking around.
Like,
It's like he's on tape. You could look that up if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you could watch Joe Namath try and kiss Susie Colbert, and then on the next video you could listen to Gregg Williams trying to kill people. Like that's all right there.
I saw something funny though. I guess some Twitter tweet. I was on Reddit and somebody said that Hue Jackson is like Michael Scott, like literally Michael Scott, like walking around the office, like just fucking with Stanley and giving Toby the finger and stealing Kevin's M&Ms. Like it literally was just some guy that didn't really need to be there. So all good things come to an end, and he's off building the Hue Jackson paper company, and he's not here anymore. So
it'll be interesting to see where he ends up next. I don't know if it's coaching football. It'd be a wonderful transition to get kind of him and John Fox on the same CBS morning set criticizing people. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
with Trent Dilfer as like the moderator in the middle, like giving advice. Shut up, Trent Dilfer.
Shut up, Trent Dilfer. Oh, the other thing that I saw talking about disgraced former coaches, Michael Brockers did an interview with some lady, and she straight up asked him, she's like, so Michael Brockers plays for the Rams. He's a defensive lineman for the Rams, and he's played for Jeff Fisher. And she said, what would your record be at the end of this year if Jeff Fisher was still the coach? He straight up goes, probably like 7-9. Probably like 7-9. I love you, Coach Fish, but man, like now we got a real coach. We got a real coach now. We have communication and discipline and objectives, and it's like an organization.
We have a battle plan now. Yeah, you're not just some guy with sunglasses.
Just some dude walking around in fucking sunglasses looking great. That picture of him eating a taco, which I'm pretty sure has been photoshopped.
Totally, 100% photoshopped, dude. That shit is so crudely photoshopped.
It's totally photoshopped, but man, that's one of my favorite pictures on the internet. Just Jeff Fisher eating a taco. Google that one. You'll enjoy that. Moving on, we got a couple more things before we get to this NFL preview. Derrick Rose went for 50 points last night.
Awesome.
He was
everybody's
crying. Everybody in the NFL, everybody in the NBA was happy. It was good to see.
Yeah. How can you not like Derrick Rose though? I mean, you always got to kind of root for the little guy, and 2001 youngest MVP in the history, and he keeps getting like meniscus tears and all this shit. So he's literally gone all the way to the bottom. He's like the Jon Snow of our Game of Thrones, rising back to the top.
Yeah.
Will he
He's
survive?
Literally been getting killed. He's been dead, left for dead in the NBA.
Totally.
Speaking of killing people, Matt Patricia, he wanted to kill some reporter during a midweek press conference, and this is the ultimate. People have been shitting all over Matt Patricia, and rightfully so for doing this. So Matt Patricia, the most slovenly man in the NFL, king of the sideline trash bag, most horrible. He's worse dressed than Bill Belichick.
Tries to dress worse than Bill Belichick. That's the funny part. He doesn't even do that better than Bill Belichick. It's retarded. Or,
No,
excuse me, it's handicapped.
he's got 3 wins. Belichick's got 250 or whatever the fuck he's got. So you don't have the right to do that yet, Matt. But he's at a press conference, and apparently some reporter is like slouching in the chair and asks him a question about trading Golden Tate. And Matt Patricia comes at him hard. He's like, sit up. He's like, sit up, man. Like, you're gonna ask a question, do it with some pride. Have some respect for the process here. And basically he's just criticizing the guy for looking slovenly while doing his job. Okay, Matt. That's a bold move. Yeah, it's a very bold move, Cotton. But I don't think that you got any way that you should be criticizing those people. And neither does anybody else in the world. Matt Patricia's the only guy who thinks that he's got the right to do that.
He just has like that weird beard that, like he'll go to Chipotle and there's like Chipotle from the afternoon. Like you're talking to him in the evening and you're like, dude, you got fucking lettuce in your beard. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, my bad. And then just leaves it. Bro.
Did you get the corn salsa? Because, I know that. You've got corn in your beard. You just slovenly fool.
Bro, we had cilantro rice like a week ago. I'm pretty sure there's like cilantro in your beard as we like, go clean that up, dude.
Go clean that up. We got 2 more things to talk about before we hit this NFL action up. Let's go ahead. The second biggest news of the week for me behind the WNBA controversy has to be the confirmation that Bad Boys 3 is getting made. Yeah, I'm fucking pumped. I watched The Rock today. We've been talking about The Rock so much. I watched that front to back today. What a great movie. And I love Bad Boys. I love Bad Boys 2. And I cannot wait for Bad Boys 3.
Let me ask you, what's your favorite Bad Boys 2 scene? Because I fucking love that movie.
It's the one where they break in and they're like, don't be alarmed, we're Negroes. Right? where they go in there and then they're looking around. And, Martin Lawrence yells that out. And then also where the rats are fucking. It's a great one.
Yeah.
They fuck like people. They fuck like people.
The best.
But my favorite Bad Boys scene of any of the movies, I guess there's only 2 of them. It's not like they're the Rocky series. But of either of the movies is the very end of Bad Boys 1, where for whatever reason, they're racing the main bad guy, the weird European guy.
The French
they're racing him, and there's that like one little slit that you can drive through, and no one realizes that you can slow down. You can use your brakes. So they're not going to do that at all. They're just going to go full speed into that. Martin Lawrence, obviously, throughout the whole movie, he's driving slow. He's in the driver's seat. He makes it through. And then Will Smith's best line, maybe in his career, that's how you drive. That's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive. Like that's my favorite scene in either of the Bad Boys movies. What about you?
That's a great scene. I forgot about that one, but that's how you drive. That's a classic. I'm a little bit younger than you are, so I'm a little bit less mature than you. My favorite one is, it's really stupid. It has no plot development or nothing like that. It's just really stupid. It's when Martin Lawrence's daughter is going on a date, and then him and Will Smith are on bad terms because he just found out his sister is fucking Will Smith. Spoiler alert. And so he's like, somebody's gonna take my baby to date or prom or some shit. And so the guy answers the door, and there stands this like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, like tall black kid with cornrows, really nervous. And he's like, who the fuck are you? And then at that point, Will Smith comes out. He's like, who the fuck is that? Reggie? Who the fuck is he's coming out. And it's just, if you haven't seen it, you got to YouTube it. It's a classic scene. Every single line is quotable. I'm not going to sit here and quote 3 minutes of a movie, but it's so classic. It's my favorite.
So that's great. They're fired up. We're fired up. I don't know. The only thing I haven't heard is if Michael Bay better be doing that thing. Like, he better be doing that. Yeah. They better not get some up and comer. Bring the baster back. Get him off the fucking Transformers series. I think he's been off those for a while. But keep
That'll be
him away from
crazy. I
that.
didn't even think about that, dude. If they bring back like the guy that does like J.J. Abrams or or somebody on that level, like does the Marvel movies, I'm gonna be pretty upset. I will not be
Yeah, I don't
happy.
want Joss Whedon on this thing. I want Michael Bay. All right. If Michael
Hmm.
Bay's not in, I only need 4 people for this to work. All right. Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, Michael Bay, and whoever that white dude is that's a
The captain,
captain
yeah,
that was
yeah,
in
yeah,
Matrix as well. That guy, he's
yeah.
got to fucking be in it too. All
What's
right.
his name from the
He better be
Matrix?
in it.
What's that guy's name? That's gonna kill me. I gotta
I
look
don't
that
know.
up.
But anyhow, that guy's got to be in it too. And then I'm all in. I'm 100% in on that. And
Cypher.
last thing of the week,
You want
have you
Cypher?
seen this? Have you heard about this? So O.J. Simpson went to a Halloween party, and if you haven't seen it, he wore an interesting costume. I think he went as Dr. Seymour Bush, gynecologist,
I didn't even know
and
that. I didn't see the Seymour Bush. I didn't see
yeah, so
that.
that's what his little white coat said, and man, he's a man without shame. That's just a man that he's gonna fucking A. The juice is
Awesome.
loose. The juice is loose.
Well, I don't want to, derail this too far, but this is still OJ Simpson related. But Borat or Sacha Baron Cohen. I hope
Yeah.
you've seen this. I hope you've heard about this. But there's that scene in like the season finale of his show, Who Is America, and he's undercover as like this rich, like white debutante, like Italian male model, and he's talking to OJ Simpson. There's like a hidden camera, and his wife comes in, and you know whatever that may be, he's like, oh, sometimes she drives me crazy, sometimes I just want to put my I just drive her, he's pretty much implying he wants to kill her and shit, and he's really giving OJ Simpson a hard time, and OJ Simpson's a really good sport about it. So if he was a murderer, he's not anymore, but yeah, he's a good sport. But you got to watch that too if you haven't seen that.
I think that's probably like a once a murderer, always a murderer thing. I don't know if that's a title that you get to shed after.
Well, that's allegedly though, dude. You can't just be pointing fingers like that. And
I mean, he was. I guess he was, found innocent beyond a reasonable doubt.
the craziest is his book that he wanted to release. It said, "I did it," and then in small print it said "if," like on the cover. So it's the title is "If I Did It."
Yeah, if I
but it's
did
like,
it, but it's
I
very poorly
did it.
designed. It's very poorly designed, and he had a real sort of one-armed man, Richard Kimball fugitive
Nice.
theory as
Very
to
nice.
what happened. But that's its own thing. You
It
can
was
make
some Puerto Rican guy.
yeah,
he
some
went for
Puerto
the-
Rican guy. You could make an entire documentary about that. Oh wait, somebody already did, and they won an Oscar for it. So check that out. I watched both of those things recently, and it was both nostalgic because I think I was, what's that, 95, 96, I think that all started going down. So I was 12, 13, 14 at that point in time. But yeah, that was crazy. You're never going to see another trial like that. I know people say that, so we might one day, but I haven't seen anything like that since. And
I was too young
strange.
I was really too young to appreciate it. But looking back, it's definitely like I think it'd be different in this age how it would kind of develop, just because the information age was a little bit different back then. But hopefully it never happens again. Hopefully nobody ever gets murdered again. But
Yeah, we're done with that. We're gonna get Tom Cruise. We're gonna get those weird bald-headed people into their little tank, and then we're gonna stop this all together.
the
We're gonna stop it all
precogs,
together.
we're gonna get some precogs. We're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Don't. That's a great movie too. All right, we've talked enough about movies. We need to talk a little bit about football. So we're sitting here on Thursday night. Raiders are at the 49ers. 49ers are on their ninth string quarterback. The guy's name is Mullins, but he's still better than Derek Carr. Niners are up 14-3 right now, closing in on halftime. Derek Razor Scooter. He may be the trade deadline's over with, but he may be another head that falls at the end of the year.
He just pulled I'm watching it on my side screen. He just pulled a very Jameis Winston-y pass. He just did not see that guy. He's lucky that shit didn't get intercepted. Jesus.
He's lucky. He's a lucky guy. Let's go ahead. Let's get into these games. Steelers at the Ravens. We'll start the morning slates. Over-unders 47.5. Ravens are 3-point favorites. Ravens are sliding. Steelers, they're up and down. What was funny about this one is the Ravens defensive coordinator came out and he was talking a bunch of shit on Le'Veon Bell. He's like, I'll tell you what, man, you look at the statistics. They're better in a lot of these categories than they have been for the last 3 years. Maybe that's why Le'Veon's out riding a jet ski in Miami.
You said that?
He said that, his words. Maybe that's why Le'Veon's out there riding a jet ski in Miami or in Florida or whatever he said.
Hey, at least he's having fun. I mean, fuck Le'Veon Bell for being a baby, but at least he's, on a jet ski in Florida,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his plan is. He missed out on $15 million this year. He must think he's got a hell of a contract coming to him. I don't know. I don't think he's ever going to make that back up.
I think he had a home in South Carolina and he won the fucking Powerball. So he's just giving everybody the proverbial finger and he's, sitting at home in his pajamas on a Sunday morning, masturbating,
Ice cream and Pornhub. Ice cream and Pornhub for Le'Veon. No all 22 for him.
Well, Le'Veon's cheap. He's using Bing, Bing, a very underrated porn search hub for all you.
He's on Bing and X Hamster. Like that's what he does. He's not a classy guy. He's not on, he's on like Firefox and X Hamster. He's not on Google Chrome and like Pornhub. No, he's
using the default Opera browser. That's what he's using.
Yeah, he's using whatever's free. He's on a Linux-based system because he's trying to save that cash. But if I'm looking at this thing, I don't know. I don't trust anything about the Ravens. Joe Flacco. Hey, I just don't like Joe Flacco. That's been very clear from the beginning of this. I'm going with the Steelers and they're getting 3 points.
I saw one of those videos a couple weeks back about how the Ravens absolutely annihilate young quarterbacks, and Ben Roethlisberger has been allegedly raping chicks for years. So he is not a young quarterback. He knows what he's doing. This is not the first time he's seen the Ravens defense and other schemes. So I think he's going to have a field day, and I think the Steelers are going to take it.
You got the Steelers. I got the Steelers. Coins with us. Coins on the Steelers as well. So all three football experts are in alignment. Put your money out on that thing. Next game to talk about, Falcons at the Redskins. Over-under is 48. -1.5 for the Redskins at home. This is one of those games, if the Falcons win this thing, we're looking at them getting real hot. They're 4-4 at that point, and
they were
1-4
2 weeks ago.
Exactly. They're going a different direction than the Raiders. Raiders are skyrocketing to 1-7. Falcons going a different way. If they get this, they're back at 500 and they're back in the game. If
I'm going to read off their schedule when you're done rambling. Go ahead. Sorry.
But if they don't, though, go ahead, give them the shovels and start digging, boys.
So they're going to play Washington, totally winnable. They're going to play Cleveland, totally winnable. If they win that, they're going to be 5-4. And then they got Dallas, that's winnable, 6-4. New Orleans, which will be a really, really good game with, of course, playoff implications. So that's at New Orleans. So we'll see how that goes. That's a very losable game. And then they play a couple tough ones, down the stretch. They got to play Tampa, Carolina, and Green Bay. But
But they win these next three, and they're sitting at 6-4. They're in it. They're in it. They'll be going into New Orleans hot. New Orleans has not played a complete game every week. No NFL team does, but I wouldn't put it against the Falcons to take this one. Granted, like I said, I watched The Rock today, so that pushes me towards Adrian Peterson and his team. But I got to go. I'm going to take the Falcons. I'm going to say they keep rolling, and they've got, Alex Smith is what you want to see across the ball when your defense is struggling. So I'm going to take the Falcons and the 1.5.
I think it's a really bad matchup for Alex Smith. I really do. I think it'll be an absolute shootout because they're, at the end of the day, the Falcons defense isn't fantastic, but they can't get any worse. So I think this one, I would actually even bet the over on that. And we're going to see a Falcons win.
So you got the Falcons. I got the Falcons. Coin, hey, he was watching The Rock with me. He believes in AP. Coin's on the Redskins. So we're split on that. Humans versus a coin. We'll see who wins. Next game to talk about, Jets at the Dolphins. Dolphins are 3-point favorites at home. Over-under is 43.5. I don't even know if it's Brock Lobster or if it's Tannehill playing quarterback. It doesn't really matter. They seem pretty much interchangeable at this point. What I do know is I don't like anything I've been seeing out of the Jets for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't really care
and that
about
being the
this game.
case, I gotta probably lean towards the Dolphins. There has been some turmoil in Danny Amendola's life. Have you seen that? Have you heard about that?
No, did he punch some chick in an elevator and it was caught on security cam?
Oh no, actually he didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
But he did. So Danny Amendola, he's a professional football player, and he's a good-looking guy who's in great shape. So believe it or not, women are attracted to him.
This is strange.
So
to me.
there are beautiful women that like to keep his company.
Okay.
And apparently he was dating a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model.
Nice.
Which, good on you, Danny. But he was also dating some other nice young lady at the same time. And some pictures came out of Danny with his side piece. And then, wouldn't you know it, Danny's without a woman for at least a day or two. At least a day or two. But they both broke up with him. They're trashing him on Instagram. Everybody's vilifying Danny Amendola. So you got to wonder if his head's in the game this week. But
it's in the game.
Regardless.
It's in the game. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's got 5 more of them lined up.
Yeah. He's fine.
He doesn't give a shit.
He's
in Miami. He's a professional athlete that lives in Miami. He's going to be okay.
I think he'll be fine. If anything, he'll maybe better. He may play better. So
yeah, without all that emotional baggage, just free to the world. Everybody knows, he doesn't have to sleep with that.
Free to like
anymore.
everybody's Instagram pictures without control. He'll be fine.
Yeah, people are DMing him already. You're gonna be all right, Danny. Hang in there. I'm gonna take the Dolphins and give them the 3 points.
I can't really pick a team here. This seems kind of like a snooze fest. That they will definitely ruin my red zone experience, but. I don't know. I'm thinking about taking the Jets here. I think the Dolphins are going to continue to slide because I don't even know who their quarterback is starting. Like, are they going to be bringing in Broccoli Rob, or are they going to be bringing in Tannehill?
I think it's Broccoli Rob. I think that's who it is. But we'll see how it goes. Either way, I'll take him. It just feels like one of those games Miami will win to get the hope back up, and then they just get crushed down some more. So they need that.
I'll go. I'll pick the Jets here.
All right, we're split on that. Humans are split. Coins with you. He's on the Jets. All right, I'll take the short end of that stick. That's okay. Moving on to the next game. Lions at the Vikings. Over-under is 49. Vikings -5 at home. And of all these things, the Vikings, they actually outplayed the Saints last Sunday night. They just kept turning the ball over. Yeah. Thielen with he had a fumble down in the red zone. Kirk Cousins threw that pick 6, which, wasn't really his fault. The receiver, Diggs, cut the route off on him, make him look like an asshole. But, they outplayed the Saints. And I got to figure that Matt Patricia's got his comeuppance coming to him after giving that reporter the business. And that reporter is going to be in there in the post game, just like perfect fucking posture, just hammering. That's what I'd be. I'd be in there in a suit and shit, waiting for the Lions to lose, and then just hammering Patricia after the game with anything I could think to come at him with. You got to think that's going to happen. 5 points isn't that much. I'm going to take the Vikings and the 5 points.
I can't get behind Matt Patricia. I really can't. I think you're going to have bad Kirk Cousins games, but I'd rather them make those mistakes in the regular season because in the postseason, that's really what matters. And I think these guys are going to make the postseason. So I'll go with the Vikings too.
We're both on the Vikings. Coin, hey, he believes in old Matty P. So he's going to go ahead and take the Lions on that.
Let me ask you a question. What happened to this Golden Tate thing? I was under the impression that Golden Tate was doing good things, but they traded him to Philly. Am I saying that right?
So they trade him to Philly. He's in what in the NBA they call an expiring contract. So he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So if he goes ahead and signs with another team, and the Lions don't sign that many free agents. They may get a compensatory pick for him, which is the best they can do is the end of the third round. So they went ahead. They just traded him to Philly for a third-round pick. That's a pick they get this year in the 2019 draft. If not, they would get that in 2020. So they're
That's
basically
awesome.
saying,
It's a good deal
yeah, it's a good deal for everybody. I think it's going to work out well for the
both
Eagles.
parties.
Yeah, it's a good deal. It's a good trade. It's good for Golden Tate. And, he'll be able to taunt people in the NFC East. That'll go out over well with the Philly fans as long as he produces. They'll love that sort of attitude.
They love that Deshaun Jackson level shit, and Golden Tate is very Deshaun Jackson-y. So those Philly fans, they're going to like him until they trade him, at which point they'll boo him and throw bottles at him. But for now, enjoy your stay.
Enjoy your stay. Say hi to Nick for me. See what he's up to. Moving on to the next game. Chiefs at the Browns. Over-under is 51. Browns are 8-point home dogs. We went over all the turmoil in Cleveland earlier. Start of the Gregg Williams era. Guess what, though, Greg? Old Patty Mahomes is coming into town. And, it's tough to see. This is a tough one. It's really a tough one. Are the Browns fired up? Are they invigorated over the loss of their coach? Are they finally going to get their shit together? I would say that that's a good thing to bet on unless you hire Gregg Williams as your interim head coach. I mean, God damn it. Like, what are you doing? They should have fired everybody. If they're going to fire Haley, fire him too, and then make that fat offensive line coach from Hard Knocks a head coach. Like, if you're going to make a fool of yourselves, just go all out. Just get it done. They got to have like a defensive back coach or a linebackers coach. It's not going to embarrass them. But
just
I
bring
don't
back
know.
Kajuste's dad. Have him coach for the remainder of the season.
Bring back Kajuste. Make Kajuste the head coach. He's not doing anything. Let him coach the team. He's got more
crazy,
respect.
Though. Like you said, they didn't fire the defensive coordinator. In fact, they promoted him. I would have just burnt down the whole building and the barbershop. That shit would have been fucking bricked off.
That shit down, Bob McNair style.
Yeah.
Make this thing in prison, man. That's how
you guys
are
doing fucking vlogs and shit, high-fiving each other, Snapchatting each other, goofy shit. Dude, you guys are at work. You guys are supposed to be working. This isn't like fun time. This isn't Candyland. This is fucking goddamn Guantanamo Bay.
Buddy.
All right? This is fucking Pelican Bay. Shoe program.
That's where he's going to put him. Right in that shoe program. When I first saw that movie, Training Day, I think I was in high school. And I honestly thought that there was some sort when, this is before the internet. You looked everything up whenever you came across it. But I initially thought, I was like, man, Denzel's going to have those motherfuckers making shoes. He's going to have them making shoes. They're going to be stitching together Nikes, man, when he gets done with them.
We'll break down what shoe program means.
It's basically solitary confinement, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So it's like solitary housing, something or other. But it's like, solitary lockdown. But when I first saw that movie, I was like, man, he's going to have those motherfuckers just stitching together Nikes in a little building where they got nets around it. So if they jump out of there, they don't die and they don't get out of their sentences early. But that's kind of what it's like being on the Browns, though. It really is. Like, they got to put a net around the field, around the stadium at where the Browns are, so those fans don't end up jumping out of there. But that's a tortured fan base. And you got Ty Lue going down.
They fucking love it. Those guys love it. They held a goddamn parade last year for going 0-16 or 1-15, right? Didn't they throw a parade?
No, they were 0-16, and then and then Hue Jackson jumped in Lake Erie. And they can't get enough of it. LeBron gave that town more than they have. It was very confusing times for them when LeBron brought that championship home. They didn't know how to react. They're just getting back in the groove. They're like the Browns fans are like the Doug Marrone of the NFL fan base. Like, they're most comfortable just with that little fucking lash thing hitting them on the back. It feels good to them. It really does. They don't know how to deal with success.
They're like glutton for punishments, They're
masochists. Everyone in Cleveland, they're known masochists.
They're institutionalized as Red would say.
Cleveland,
Institutionalized? Institutionalized.
Cleveland Browns fans were here. You know, they were here.
They were
But
here.
anyhow, if I'm picking this thing, 8 points is a lot. They're playing at home. They may have some juice. They may have some momentum. Or they may, and the Chiefs defense is not good, but they might just get fucking steamrolled too. I mean, it's very reasonable. You miss the first 30 minutes of red zone, you could be turning on at 21-0. Patty Mahomes, Patty Mahomes standing there shaking his hair out, and then Gregg Williams red-faced screaming at everybody in sight. That's a pretty likely thing. So if I got to put money on this thing, yeah, I'm putting it on the Chiefs.
Well, they kicked the shit out of a couple good teams. They kicked the shit out of Cincinnati. They beat Jacksonville when Jacksonville wasn't totally terrible. They beat Pittsburgh. And they beat the Chargers. They did lose to New England. And there's no way in hell that you beat all those teams and you lose to the Browns. It's just not happening. They might tie the Browns. I could see them tying it just in some weird quantum world, but they're not going to lose to the Browns.
They're two places at once. So we're both on the Chiefs. Coin's with us. He's on the Chiefs as well. We're going to cruise through these next couple games real quick because I don't want to spend much time talking about them, and I definitely don't want to spend much time watching them. Bears at the Bills. Only thing to talk about here that I give a shit about is, guess what? Derek Anderson, you know how you were saying, I don't want to get hurt, but maybe he tweaked something. Well, he tweaked his head, which is not how much you want to be tweaking. But he definitely tweaked something. He's out this week. And hallelujah, Nate Peterman, he's back. He's back. We're going to get another Nate Peterman appearance against Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's going to be playing against Nate Peterman. Thank you. Thank you. The over-under is 37.5. The Bills are 10-point dogs at home. Man, anybody but Nate Peterman, how the fuck are you a 10-point dog at home? The Browns are one of the worst teams in the NFL, and they're playing the Chiefs, one of the best, and they're only 8-point home dogs. Bills also obviously one of the worst teams, but they're not playing Patty Mahomes. They're playing Mitch Trubisky, and they're playing Mitch Trubisky, and they're 10-point dogs at home. No one believes in Nate Peterman. No one should, but I tell you what. I'm going to. I'm gonna root for you this week, Nate, and I'm gonna be betting on the Bills plus 10.
That's crazy. You're fucking nuts. Who they signed? They just signed somebody. The Bills
for quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Derek Anderson. He played 2 games and he got concussed.
Yeah, no,
now it's Nate Peterman time.
No, but Nate Peterman's backup. It's Colt McCoy.
Oh, I don't know.
They brought back Colt McCoy, right?
Oh, no way.
Hold on, I gotta look that up.
I hope they did. That's a good chance we could have a double McCoy backfield in the second half. Colt and Shady.
McCoy. Can't be Colt McCoy. Bills sign quarterback.
We got here
Terrell Pryor.
That guy's a wide receiver. I mean, he did play quarterback at Ohio State, which means he's probably better than Peterman, even though he hasn't played for a while. But it doesn't matter. I mean, whoever that statue is they bring in after Nate throws his 4th pick in the second quarter, they'll get through the rest of the game. But Bills defense played great against the Patriots. I think they're going to carry that over. And, Mitch Trubisky, he can't complete anything but a screen pass. So as long as they're prepared for that, and they hold the Bears to.
Is Matt Barkley.
What's that?
They signed Matt Barkley. Bark Dog.
Oh, the Bark Dog. One of our favorites. One of our all-time favorites.
He's going to get a little messy.
I went from bagging groceries to, I don't know, holding Nate Peterman's clipboard. Wow, what a promotion. Excuse me. Nate Peterson's Microsoft Surface Pro.
It's not an iPad, stupid. It's a Microsoft Surface Pro, okay? Get it right.
Surface Pro. So I got the Bills.
Damn it, Howie. Stop saying that, Howie.
Yeah. I got the Bills plus 10. Who you got on this one?
I'll take the Bills with you. Why not? I don't give a fuck. I do want to see some Khalil Mack Dougie sack dances. I would really like to see that.
He may kill Peterman. He may kill him. We may have they may be Sean McDermott may get suspended or something for letting Nate Peterman get exposed to the death train that is Khalil Mack, but we'll see.
Well, it depends
Coin's on the
new,
Bears. Coin's
on
a little
the,
bit wiser than we are, so we're going to
penalties.
stick with the coin.
They might throw the penalty flag, and they're not going to hurt Mr. Peterman, but they're definitely going to scare him.
They're going to scare him good. All right, moving on. Bucs to the Panthers. Jameis, he's been benched. Fitzpatrick, he's back in there. And,
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
Jameis has been very humble and optimistic about his benching. He says he's really going to take the bull by the horns when he gets his next chance, which, there's a good chance that, probably how this goes. The Bucs lose here. They lose a few more games. Cutter gets fired. And then people say to themselves, all right, it's a lost season. We got to put Jameis in for the last 3 or 4 games. It's probably how that goes. And I think it's 3 or 4 more games if I didn't see that guy ultimately. But, it's tough to say what's going to happen here. We've had a lot of good Cam this year. McCaffrey's been better. The other thing about the Bills that, hey, we've been shitting on, we're going to go back to them real quick because it's kind of Panthers related. So they traded Kelvin Benjamin to the Panthers. And I don't know if you saw Booger McFarland. So Booger, I've been hating on him, but he got me with one where I'm like, I don't know, maybe this Booger guy, maybe this could just work out because he really shit on Kelvin Benjamin. And he said, that dude's one Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end. He's like, that dude's fucking fat and slow. And they gotta move him to guard next year because he's not doing his job. He's on the Jamarcus Russell buffet plan. And he's probably blaming Cam Newton for the weight gain, obviously. Nothing that guy does is not Cam Newton's fault. But people are going to be blaming the Bucs loss on Cam Newton because I'm going to take the Panthers given 6 points.
I like that. That makes me laugh. That Booger came out with a witty one. That's pretty awesome. Speaking of you were talking about fat people last week. Derek Cormier, is that his name? Daniel Cormier?
Yeah, he's fighting
on TV
this weekend
right now. He's on TV, and he's got both of his belts on. So, does this guy just walk around with his belts just everywhere? He's sitting here having a conversation with Howie and Michael Strahan. And he's trying to balance the fucking things on his shoulder. And that's just what he does. He just walks around with these UFC championship belts on. That's crazy.
Well, I doubt that he does that, but I guarantee when he goes on TV to promote his championship fight, that's probably a good thing to have.
Look at you, Mr. Marketing Guru. I like it. Making sense of it all.
But what I'm saying is if I were him, though, I would wear them everywhere. I'd put them on my fucking jeans. I'd make sure every outfit I had went with those. And I would not leave the house without my championship belt on. It'd be wallet, keys, cell phone, championship belt. Those are the things that I would look for when I was leaving the house.
Belts, plural.
Belts. Excuse me. Till John Jones gets back. Until John Jones gets back.
Until John Jones goes to rehab and then is better.
Yeah, he's just going to do an 8-ball and crawl back on top of you, Danny, and just get some. You're going to get some more. So I got the Panthers getting this one. Who you got here, Poker Guy?
I'll take the Panthers here. This might be a crazy shootout, and the line is at 55 points. So I wouldn't really gamble on this, but this is a game that I'm excited for. I hope this game takes up a lot of my red zone screen time.
Yeah, give me Bucs Panthers, not Bears Bills, Sean Hansen.
Or Jets Dolphins.
Yeah. Oh, gross. Yeah. So what do we got there? The home team. So the home team's with us. That's another triple up. So that's easy money right there. That's easy money.
Get your Bitcoin.
Go ahead and take that. We're going to move into the afternoon slate of games. So we got 3 games to bore ourselves with in the afternoon. It's such a letdown on Red Zone when that early slate of games ends.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you're stuck watching Chargers, Seahawks, and Texans, Broncos. There is one really great game that's going on, the feature game on Fox, Rams, Saints. We'll get to that. But we'll start Chargers, Seahawks. This is a big game for both of these teams. Chargers trying to keep pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. Seahawks trying to stay in the playoff picture. Over-unders 48. Seahawks 1-point favorites at home. Russell Wilson did a really excellent was a Halloween costume. He was Black Panther. It was him, Ciara, and all the Futures kids hanging out, getting some Halloween candy, walking around the neighborhood. So they're having a good time. Russell Wilson, spirits are high. 16 touches, 4 interceptions. Phillip Rivers having a hell of a year, over 2,000 yards passing, 17-3. I'm loving everything that Phillip Rivers has got going on. There's a really nice Twitter beef that happened with our boy Antonio Cromartie. Did you see that? Did you hear about that?
Are they with who? Phillip Rivers?
No, not Phillip Rivers. Somebody said something about Phillip Rivers. And then this old Eagles wide receiver, it was one of the guys, Bill Belichick actually shit on this guy after the Super Bowl. Remember that Super Bowl where Donovan McNabb got all lazy during the 2-minute drive? And, you know, T.O. was shitting on him, calling him out of shape. That's why they lost the damn Super Bowl. There's a guy in that team called Freddie Mitchell who Bill Belichick really hates. And Bill Belichick's always talking people up because he doesn't want to give anybody any locker room material. But after that, he was just like, yeah, whenever Freddie Mitchell was out there, that made me happy. I was happy whenever he was out on the field. You can print that. So you can print that. So more Freddie Mitchell on the field for them, better for us. But Freddie Mitchell came out and he was like, oh, yeah, Phillip Rivers is like Antonio Cromartie. Same joke that we've been making, but without all the different women. And then Antonio Cromartie came back on Twitter and was like, shut your fucking hoe ass up, I think is what he said. Shut your hoe ass up. And what's funny about that is I heard some people talking about it, and apparently Antonio Cromartie has had multiple vasectomies and is still knocking ladies up. Like, they are just snip-snapping him, and his boys are breaking through, like seeping through his nutsack or something, and just, you touch that guy, you're going to get pregnant. He is virile. He's a virile young man, and you cannot get fucked by Antonio Cromartie and not end up pregnant, apparently.
Damn. That's pretty wild. I'll give you a quick vasectomy story real quick. I know you're always telling really good stories, and you're a better storyteller than me, but I'll give this one a go. I had a friend of mine that I met him in college, and he was a really good friend of mine, became very close. He ended up having cancer around 20 years old. He had like serious lymphoma. He was in the hospital on his deathbed for about 3-4 years. He was completely chemoed out. He didn't have a hair in his body. He looked like Casper the Ghost. We were always shitting on him for looking like a Q-tip, but he was a really good guy. But he couldn't have kids. Okay, that was his thing. He just couldn't have kids, and he didn't like wearing condoms. Okay. So he's having, the implication is he got married and he's having sex with his wife on the regular, and he's busted inside her, but it doesn't matter because you ain't got no jam, man. There's nothing coming out of there. Okay. So one day his wife calls him and she's in tears and she's bawling, and she says, I need you to come home right now. And he's like, what's up, baby? Everything good? And she says, well, I'm pregnant. And he is enraged. He's like, who you is been he? Fucking? Who is he?
Who you been fucking?
Who is he? And, we all live in Florida. So he's like, who is he? I'm coming home. I'm getting a gun. I'm going to kill somebody.
I'm going to stand my ground.
I'm going to stand my ground against my wife who's scared, terrorizing me or whatever. So anyways, she's freaking out. He's freaking out, crying, tears, I love you though, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. They go to the OBGYN doctor, and the guy's like, yeah, no, you're definitely at like a 0.000% chance of getting a lady pregnant. There's no way that this is your semen. So there's a little bit of a fallout. The baby progresses a little bit and incubates, whatever. I don't know. I don't have kids. But anyways, they do a karyotype, which is when they go in and they pull out the chromosomes of the baby. And they found out that this was, in fact, his child or whatever. So it was very crazy, very confusing. And the big thing was the guy was like, look, I don't want to have any kids. I don't like kids. I don't like these fuckers. Do I or do I not need a vasectomy? And the OBGYN urologist guy is like, no, you don't need a vasectomy. There's a 0.0000000.1% chance. I mean, you're shooting blanks. There's nothing coming out of there. That is just straight pre-cum. That's all, buddy. There's nothing coming out, because all that chemo, barbecues your nutsack.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that. I don't know what those things are, but they got to be frying your testicles at a certain point.
Right. It's essentially...
It's like drinking 9 Diet Mountain Dews every day.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any kids. You're not going to be fertile.
that yellow 7 or orange 9, food coloring shit will shrink your balls. And so that's where he was at. So, time progressed, 2 or 3 years go by. He gets another phone call. Baby, I'm pregnant. And he says, what the fuck? Right? What the fuck is going on? Who you been fucking? Same thing. Fallout. I'm getting the gun. I'm going to blow my brains out. Blah, 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 all this shit. It's hard to hear, because you got this doctor telling you can't have fucking kids. They do the same thing. Yeah, but I mean,
that second one, that's on him.
I never said it was.
You can't believe that doctor anymore at that point. Number one, get a new doctor. Number two, get a snip snap. And go at least a factor of 10 or 100 lower than whatever this 0.001 is. And number three, start buying Powerball tickets, man, because you are beating the odds. You need to start doing that.
Well, I don't know if it was the same or the same doctor or not, but either way, he ended up finding out this was in fact his child. And so, the joke was like, hey, fuck it. I'm getting a goddamn vasectomy. And so he told me that story in college, and I was like, that is fucking killer story. That's awesome. And the running joke is, dude, I hope your wife gets pregnant again. One thing is because, Antonio Cromartie, the man with the zillion vasectomies, can still impregnate chicks. So if you're listening out there, you red-faced Casper-looking motherfucker, I love you, buddy, and I hope you have another kid.
I mean, I got to think that are there different types of vasectomies where it's like, I want to get the, oh no, what if we change our mind? Or what if one of our kids dies and we need to have another kid to make our family feel complete again? There's tragedies that happen in people's lives where you're like, sure. I want to make sure that we got a little bit of wiggle room here. Well, but there's also got to be yo, man, give me the super vasectomy. Whatever you do, double or triple that up. So these guys got to run through like a serpentine. They got to really run the gauntlet. It's a fucking end of mousetrap for them to get out of there. Give me that vasectomy. Well, that's the one that I want.
There is a certain type of vasectomy that works really well, and they do it to dogs. Just chop your nuts off.
Okay, yeah, suck the nuts right out of your stomach.
Yeah, just vacuum them, vacuum them out and call it a day. I know a veterinarian. I know a good veterinarian, dude. Hell yeah, I know a real good veterinarian, dude. Probably charge you fucking $80, out the back. Come in at 9 p.m.
Do it on the cheap, man.
Come in at 9.
Shave your pubes off. Next thing you know, you got nudicles in there.
You can even nudicles. You even have to be asleep. Put some local anesthetic in there. You'll be fine. I do it to
good to go.
Bernard the other day, and that thing's got bigger nuts than you. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's bigger than you. All right, so I'm going to take the Chargers, getting the 1 point up in Seattle.
I like the Chargers. I've always wanted the Chargers to win. I do. They're like they're like Derrick Rose of the NFL. I'm going to go for the Chargers here.
Rooting for them. All right. Hey, Coins with us again. We're tripled up again. That's a sure bet. Get on the Chargers, everybody. Texans at the Broncos. Over-under is 46. -1 for the Broncos at home. Texans are 5-3. They've won 5 in a row. Heat getting turned down for Billy O'Brien in everybody's world except for PG's. Because, yeah, like we were talking about Dick Vitale having a grudge. Apparently, Bill O'Brien took old poker guy's mom out and never called her back because he's got an internal grudge against that guy. Again, he's not the best coach, but Deshaun Watson, not Jackson. Deshaun Jackson's busy, watching Jameis Winston throw balls to his defenders. But Deshaun Watson, he's coming into form. Case Keenum, he's already got as many interceptions this year as he had all last year. John Elway doesn't give a shit. He's just out there being busy. He's out there being busy shitting all over anybody he can because he's a notorious asshole. Pretty soon, though, the Roosters are going to come home, and John Elway is going to have to answer for all he's done the last 5 years. Peyton Manning's not there to save you anymore. Vance Joseph, he's going to be fired at the end of the year. This just has one of those games that doesn't make any sense. What's with that line? I don't trust it. There's got to be something going on. Broncos trade away Demaryius Thomas. He wasn't doing much anyway. He's one biscuit away from being as slow as Kelvin Benjamin at this point. So I'm going to keep believing in the Texans. I'll take the Texans in the point.
I just really want the Texans to be better than I think they're going to be. I think the Broncos have a chance to win this one. I really do. I'm going to take the Broncos.
I'm on the Texans. You're on the Broncos. Coins with me. He's on the Texans as well.
I'll tell you what, man. I do not believe in the Texans. They should be 3-5 right now. They should not be 5-3.
I mean, you could argue that either way. They could have picked up an extra win or two at the beginning of that as well. But they are first place in their division, and they are in the driver's seat to win that thing and make it to the playoffs. Talking about two teams in the driver's seat. Rams 8-0 at the Saints. This is a featured game on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm excited for this.
It's going to be a good one. That's the only reason to stay in tune to Red Zone for the afternoon. Catch a little nap at the beginning of this, see what's going on.
Totally.
Towards the end of the second half, because we got Goff and Breeze dueling it out.
And Todd Gurley, too, man. It's going to be super good. It's going to be a good game.
Because there's going to be a lot of Saints fans that are also LSU fans, and they're going to either be up or down from whatever happens the night before.
That's right.
Hue Tigers taking on Alabama at home. That's a late night.
Why do you say it like that?
As well.
Why do you say it like Hue Tigers? You know how
Hue, because it's spelled G-A-A-U-X, man. Hue Tigers. So Hue Tigers. We'll see how they do. We'll see how that carries over with the crowd on Sunday. And, you know, the Rams, they got lucky last week. You know, they got bailed out there at the end by Montgomery, fumbling that kickoff. Otherwise, Rodgers, they're looking at 7-1.
They're losing that game. They're losing that game, yeah. It doesn't change the fact that
game.
Doesn't change the fact 7-1, 8-0 versus 6-1. It's going to be a good game. The one thing that I'm excited about, I did not see Sean Payton do the skull clap. I wanted the skull clap. I didn't see the skull clap. Kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, he learned his lesson last year. That's for sure. But they took it to the Vikings. The thing is, they didn't really take it to him. They took it to him on the scoreboard. I think they were mostly outplayed. Got a couple timely turnovers that turned the game for them. Will be interesting to see what happens with this one. I'm going to take Drew Brees at home. And, this is an over-under that's at 59.5. I just would want to get on that over just because. Just because. That's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a real high-scoring game.
It's crazy that that's the over for. I mean, that's the line for that game, and then Bucs Panthers. I think Bucs Panthers is going to get a little crazy, but that line is right there too. I don't know how the fuck they figure these things out, but I'm definitely taking the over for this game, and I do think the Saints will take this.
And then you look at the Bears and the Bills, it's at 37.5. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. And that's basically, that would be at like 28 if it wasn't for Nate Peterman. Because they're factoring in at least 2 Nate Peterman pick sixes into that. So like that's inflating that over-under in that game. So we're both with the Saints. We believe in them. Coin, run away from me here. All right, Coin's on the Rams. So Coin's taking the Rams.
This will be a good game to watch, though. I am excited for this game. All the games this week are kind of snooze fests, I guess is the word. But this will be a killer game. I'm pumped.
That'll be a good one.
This is Chiefs Pats. This is what it reminds me of. Chiefs Pats from two weeks ago, 40-43 or 40-45. This would be
it should be. We got another one. Pats Packers Sunday night. Packers at the Patriots.
It's crazy.
Packers only 3-1. Patriots in at 6-2. Long ago were the days where they were 1-2. They've ripped off 5 in a row. Beat the Chiefs. Had some other good wins. They did not look good Monday night at Buffalo.
They weren't trying. They weren't trying.
Yeah, and they didn't have Sony Michel. They kept him out of the game. They didn't have much of a running game. Their offense isn't the same without that component. No one's offense is.
No Gronk either.
No, Gronk was there. Gronk was playing. Yeah.
He was a try.
He didn't play particularly well. He's just hurting, man. At this point in time, man, I think Gronk's got probably this year and next year, and that's probably the end of it for him.
It's sad.
Like, I'd rather see him. That's not sad. I mean, he's got a bunch of rings. He's got at least 2 of them, right? He's got 2 rings. Yeah. He's done the parades. He's doing Tide commercials. I want to see him get the fuck out of the game while he's still, before he gets the same amount of segues that are coming to Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore. Like, I don't want him on the unlimited segue program with them. Like maybe a commemorative segue when he leaves, but not like the unlimited fleet that's coming to those 2 guys.
I think Gronk will be fine. I think he's going to be totally fine. They have a funny quote. Somebody asked him a question and said, "Hey Gronk, do you miss the end zone?" And Gronk says, "I think it misses me." And the guy responds, "What's that mean?" And Gronk says, "I don't know." Which is like, it's ultra Gronk, and it's good dialogue, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, don't get into philosophical debate with Gronk. He'll confuse you and he'll confuse himself. No one benefits from that. And we got Jordan come out. He did that commercial. Did you see that NBC commercial that he did talking about Rodgers and Brady?
No, he said who's the battle of the goats or the battle of the best? Is everybody's thinking?
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
it
be
starts
LeBron.
out and it's
Yeah.
like you think that it's going to be him and LeBron, but he's hyping up everything that's going on NBC.
Well, LeBron came out and was super mega pissed about that. He actually, fired some Twitter shots with those Twitter fingers of his and was like, "Hey, Michael Jordan, like, fuck you, like, fuck you, buddy."
I don't think he did that. He definitely saw it. It caught his attention, but
No, he
I
saw
don't
it.
think
He tweeted out. He tweeted out something. I'm sure he's deleted it since then, or at least his PR guy has. But I don't know what it was. I don't want to look it up because my eyes hurt. I don't want to look at my TV screen anymore. But yeah, he came out and he said something against Michael Jordan. He was a little butthurt.
little butt hurt there, but that's gonna happen. I ended up in a Bill Belichick YouTube wormhole earlier today, and
Not a bad wormhole
that's
to be sucked into.
yeah, it's got me believing. It's got me into the Pats. I mean, Mike McCarthy. Brady versus Rodgers. You can argue that. There's no arguing Belichick versus McCarthy. Belichick's going to be ready. McCarthy's not. He's going to throw 95 slants again. Rodgers is going to come over and quietly call him out after the game, try and get him pushed out of town. I think it's the beginning of the end for the Packers as far as their season goes.
You might be right.
And Patriots are going to roll. I'll take the Pats in the -5.5 at home.
I'll take the Pats. This is going to be a good game, too.
It's going to be a good one. This is another over-under that's pretty good, 56.5. That's a lot of points. It's 28 apiece, but I think they're going to be moving up and down the field. So let's see where the coin's at. Coin's on the home team here. So we're all on the Pats. That's going to be a good one on Sunday night. What's not going to be good? We'll cruise to this last game Monday night. Titans at the Cowboys. Titans, one of my least favorite teams to watch in the NFL.
Ew.
At the Cowboys. One of my favorite teams to watch now. I never really liked watching the Cowboys these last couple years, but now that I'm on Twitter and I follow Skip Bayless, I can't get enough of him fucking freaking out and his shitty takes during each and every Cowboys game. That's a whole nother level of entertainment going on whenever the Cowboys are playing. Dak Prescott, very mediocre year. Marcus Mariota, very less than mediocre year. His question with the team his future with the team is in question. And I mean, 2, 3, and 4 teams on Monday night. I'm not getting excited about that. The over-unders are 40.5. Cowboys are 5.5 point favorites at home. I do like the over on that one. I mean, that's a 21-20 game. It's very doable. I know they're not offensive juggernauts, but we could have a turnover here or there. Monday night, a little bit extra juice in the building. Maybe Zeke runs wild. And if I'm picking this thing, if I'm putting money on it, my money's going to be put on the Cowboys.
This is a tough one for me to call just because both teams are very lackluster. Their offenses are pretty terrible, but I'm going to have to go with you here. I don't think the Titans have much of a arsenal. I'll take the Cowboys, too.
So we're both on the Cowboys. Let's see the coin's at. Coin, he's sticking with the Titans. All right, he's a Tennessee Volunteers fan. He's a Titans fan. It's been a tough year for him. By the way, everyone in Tennessee, fuck you guys, man. Fuck you, man. You guys are trash. You guys are such trash.
Niners are nut stomping the Raiders right now. So for those listening, enjoy that. Scores right now 31 to 3.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
They just did
out. They score again?
They just did a funny John Gruden. He had like this like slanty face, like crooked car salesman smile. It ain't looking good for John Gruden, but you're stuck with him for the next 9.5 years. So
Mullins has 3 TDs already and twice as many yards as Razor Scooter. So shit, man. I don't think I'm going to leave and watch that, but I'll find something better to do with the rest of my Thursday night. You guys enjoy this weekend of football. We'll see you back here on Sunday night.